Hey, what's going on, guys? The Horror Man back, counting down my top 20 modern day slasher films. This will be a video response to my buddy Andrew Ballina, who recently counted down his top 20 modern day slasher films. My buddy Jason from Horrific Nightmares is also in the process of counting down his top 25 modern day slasher films. Any slasher movie made in the year 2000 or later can qualify for this list. I have also added the extra stipulation for my personal ranking that I will not be including any remakes. I will, however, include some sequels, as you'll see. However, while I will be including some sequels in this list, I will only feature one movie from a certain series in my ranking. So for example, if I was counting down my top 20 80s slasher films, and I wanted to include a Friday the 13th film, I wouldn't include more than one. So if I chose Friday the 13th Part 3, you wouldn't see Friday the 13th Part 2 on there, or the original. Just one film from the franchise. Get it? So, I think you get it. Now before I move on to my top 20, there is one movie that I want to show first. According to IMDb, this movie was released in the year 2000. But according to the DVD, it was released in 1999. So because I'm not sure whether it made the cutoff or not, I didn't want to officially include it in my top 20 ranking. However, if I did, I can tell you that I would definitely rank it pretty high, because I love this film. And I'm talking about Cherry Falls. It's a slasher movie starring Brittany Murphy and Jay Moore about a killer who goes around killing virgins. So, the kids in town decide to throw a party where they all lose their virginity. Because if you're not a virgin, you're not a victim. Pretty cool storyline. It's a great slasher film, and I would definitely include it on my ranking if I knew that it was definitely released in the year 2000. But again, not really sure which year it was released, so I'm going to include it here just as a bonus. Moving on to my official top 20 now, I'm going to try to get through these pretty quickly because I'm doing all 20 in this one video. At number 20, The Hills Run Red. This is about a group of kids who go to the filming location of a mysterious lost 80s slasher film. When they get there, they realize that the slasher from the film is real. Of course, from here, it becomes your typical slasher splatter film. He goes killing off these kids one by one. Pretty cool. Like The Mask, good concept, number 20. At number 19, I have Laid to Rest. You probably know what this one's about already. Killer goes around with the chrome skull mask, and he also has a camera on his shoulder, so he basically films as he kills his victims. Pretty cool concept, technology meets slasher film, and it works for a modern day slasher, which is why I included Laid to Rest at number 19 in my top 20. At number 18, I have Bloody Murder 2. That's right, Part 2. Now, the first Bloody Murder is kind of like Cherry Falls in the sense that, according to IMDb, it was released in the year 2000, but according to the DVD, it was released in 1999. So I really didn't want to include that one. However, with that being said, because I'm including sequels, I would probably include Bloody Murder 2 anyway, just because it's a much better film. This is pretty much a Friday the 13th ripoff, with the killer named Trevor Morehouse. Obviously he has a hockey mask there, he's got a hook, and he uses other items as well. The first movie he uses a chainsaw, and he still has the hockey mask on, so it's kind of like a hybrid of, Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Friday the 13th. It just rips off classic slasher films, but it gets it done. It's pretty cool. Trevor Morehouse has his own story, his own backstory. And, if you're just into a cheesy, fun time, it's definitely a movie worth checking out. Bloody Murder, the first one, not so great. I mean, it's a good time waster. It's worth checking out, but Bloody Murder 2 is definitely more enjoyable. At number 17 is the clown slasher Stitches. This is a prank gone wrong movie, as many slasher films are, about a bunch of kids who pull a prank on a clown at a birthday party, and the clown ends up dead. Years later, he of course returns to seek his revenge on the now teenagers who caused his demise. Pretty cool, mixing a clown horror film with some slasher elements, and it's definitely enjoyable. I know Andrew included this one on his list as well, and rightfully so. Great movie, worth checking out, a lot of fun. Stitches, number 17 on my top 20. At number 16, Camp Dread. This is a slasher film starring Eric Roberts and my favorite scream queen of all time, Danielle Harris. This is a by-the-book slasher film, step-by-step all the way, about a director who directed a trilogy of slasher films years ago, and now he wants a revival. It's a great camp slasher. It's fun. I enjoy it. Number 16 on my list. Coming in at number 15 is Midnight Movie. This is a slasher film about a slasher film. It focuses on a group of people who go to a midnight screening of an early 1970s horror film and literally get pulled into the movie. And just as quickly as they're pulled in, the killer also finds his way out. I have to say I was really impressed with this one. I didn't expect much the first time I watched it, but it definitely surpassed my expectations, and I've seen it multiple times since, and I've enjoyed it every time. So Midnight Movie, number 15 in my top 20 favorite modern-day slasher films. At number 14, Malevolence. This one focuses on a group of bank robbers who flee the scene and escape to an abandoned house. However, they don't realize that it's inhabited by a serial killer. Really cool film that doesn't get enough credit, and you should definitely check this one out if you haven't. At number 13 is another Danielle Harris film, Blood Night, The Legend of Mary Hatchet. This one also stars Bill Moseley and focuses on a group of teenagers celebrating Blood Night, the anniversary of the death of a local axe murderer. However, they soon find themselves face to face with the legend and find out that it's true. Coming in at number 12 is Gutterballs. I really shouldn't say too much about this one. If you haven't seen it, you need to check this one out. This one's sleazy, gratuitous, over the top. It's a slasher in a bowling alley. Really fun movie, really violent. It's just crazy. Gotta check it out. This is the balls out uncut version. If that doesn't give away what to expect, then I don't know what will. Gutterballs, number 12 in my top 20. At number 11, The Collector. This movie has a great concept and a great villain, and I'm sure there's a lot more they can do with them. But they've only released one sequel so far. I haven't seen that one, but I definitely want to at some point because I really enjoyed the first film. In this one, a guy breaks into a house with the intention of robbing a family, only to find that the collector is already there. So now it's robber versus serial killer in a fight to the death. The Collector, number 11 in my top 20. We've made it to the top 10, and coming in at number 10 is Shredder. Now you're probably wondering why I ranked this one so high, but the thing is, I really enjoyed this one. It's basically a camp slasher in the snow. It's about a group of skiers who break into an abandoned ski lodge and are being killed off one by one by a masked killer. It also stars Steve from Full House, who also does the voice of Aladdin. So that's pretty cool. Shredder, number 10 in my top 20 favorite modern-day slasher films. At number 9, The Sleeper. Now, this movie has been talked about to death, so I really don't want to say too much about it. There's plenty of reviews on YouTube if you don't know what it's about. It's basically a modern-day slasher made to feel like an 80s slasher. So if you're a fan of 80s slashers or just slasher movies in general, you definitely need to check out The Sleeper. Awesome, awesome movie. At number 8, See No Evil. This one stars Kane as Jacob Goodnight, who is just an awesome killer. Now, I've heard that the sequel is even better than the first one. I own the sequel, which also stars Danielle Harris once again, so I definitely need to check that one out. I don't know why I haven't yet. I think it's still wrapped up. It's still brand new. I've never even opened it, so I definitely need to check out that sequel. But for now, the first film here, I love it. I thought it was great. I thought it was well done. I love the ending in this one. See No Evil, number 8. Number 7 has a crazy twist, High Tension, also known as Switchblade Romance. Andrew Ballina also showed this one in his top 20. Again, nothing new here. Everybody pretty much knows what this one's about. Really cool gore in this one. Great story. Great twist ending. I love it. High Tension, number 7. Coming in at number 6 is one of my favorite Halloween movies and one of my favorite modern-day slasher films, Satan's Little Helper. I love the mask in this one. I love the storyline. This one's directed by Jeff Lieberman, who also did Squirm and Blue Sunshine. This is just a annual Halloween watch for me. It's so much fun. Great concept behind this one. I just love it. I almost ranked this one even higher, but the next few films, I just like a bit more. Coming in at number 5, American Psycho. Now, I'm sure most people already know about this movie, so I won't say too much about it. It's funny, it's gory, It's probably Christian Bale's best film in my opinion, and this one really makes you think. American Psycho, number 5. Coming in at number 4, Scream 3. Now, I probably could have also included Scream 4 in this ranking, but as I said, I only wanted to include one movie from each series, so I decided to go with Scream 3 instead because, in my opinion, this has the best killer out of the whole franchise. I will debate anybody on that. He is the best. He started it all. He's worked by himself. You know, the rest of the Scream films have multiple killers. Scream 3 only has one, and he takes a hit and he just keeps on coming. He's awesome. I also love the opening of this one with Cotton, 100% Cotton. That always cracks me up, but I love that opening scene with Cotton Weary as well. And I love the movie within a movie storyline in this one. So Scream 3 it is for me. I love this franchise. I love this film. Number 4 in my top 20 favorite modern day slasher films. At number 3, Session 9. Now, I included this movie in my What Makes a Slasher video, and it's definitely up for debate, I guess. But to me, this is a slasher film. It's the main characters being killed off one by one, and some of them even being slashed, literally slashed. So yeah, I definitely include this as a slasher film. It's a psychological slasher, but it's still a slasher. I absolutely love this movie. It's probably one of my favorite horror films of all time. I love the setting of this one. I love the characters. It's fantastic. If you haven't seen Session 9, you need to check this movie out. Very awesome. Now this next one came in second place in my top 20 favorite Scream Factory covers video, and it comes in that oh so close second place again. Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon. I love this movie. You guys already know that. I believe I mentioned that already. It's fantastic. This probably has the most likable slasher next to Norman Bates in the history of horror. Leslie Vernon is such a likable guy. You know, you want to love that guy. He's fun. He's fun to be around. He seems like a genuinely good guy. He's funny. You know, Paradise Lost, found it. So awesome. I love his mask. I love the concept of this movie. It's kind of like The Office meets a slasher film. You know, a documentary crew following around Leslie Vernon, seeing how he plans out his night of slaying. And then it just all becomes too real. So, yeah, just a fantastic concept. I love this movie, but just not number 1. It's just not, because there's one modern day slasher that I like just slightly more than this one. And here it is, my number 1 favorite modern day slasher film, Hatchet. I'm sure you guys already guessed because I recently did my ranking of the Hatchet series, and this was number 1 in that video. It's number 1 here as well because it is the greatest modern day slasher in my opinion. It's a slasher film made by a slasher fan. Adam Green just got it right. Victor Crowley is an amazing killer. You have Kane Hodder in this. You have Robert Englund in this. You have Danielle Harris in it later in the series. You know, she's gotten a lot of mention in this video, but this is the one that started it. I love this movie so much, and there was no way I couldn't make this my number 1 choice. There it is, Hatchet, my number 1 favorite modern day slasher film. So that's it, guys, for my top 20 favorite modern day slasher films from the year 2000 or later. I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and I'll be back soon with more. Until then, comment below, let me know what you think of these films, and if you feel up to it, post a video response ranking your top 20 favorite modern day slashers. I'd love to check it out. Thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it.